Here we go. Welcome to Jackal's Wrestling Entertainment Pod. As always, I'm Caleb.
Jeremiah.
And we sure have a lot to talk about. We kick things off with possibly the biggest thing of the week, and that is Raw. But not only Raw, we started off with that John Cena Hill promo. What'd you think of the John Cena Hill promo?
I thought it was really good. Like it's been very polarizing. You've seen a lot of different opinions from fans, from exports in the industry. But I mean, think about it. He points out one point in there, accusing all the fans, saying it was an abusive relationship, saying you made me the butt of a stupid invisibility joke for 15 years. But so many things have gone viral from this promo of John Cena.
There's
memes and a ton of stuff from it. But I mean, I think it will. I mean, we waited like 2 or 3 weeks to finally hear from John Cena. Here's the explanation. And I think it worked. I mean, overall, I think John Cena got heat. I mean, everyone was booing him. They were cussing at him. They had keep blanking you out on Netflix.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it did what was supposed to. Then he was interrupted by Cody Rhodes. And what do you think of the chilling words of Cody? I want the never give up John Cena. If I get this John Cena, I'm going to beat his. You know what? What'd you think of those words from Cody Rhodes?
I thought it was great. I think Cody just really, again, we saw them chanting for Cody. They were crazy when he came out. I think both of them really fed off of fans, and I think Cody did everything he was supposed to do. He didn't even have to, John Cena beat him up at Elimination Chamber. But Cody didn't think about getting violent. No, Cody just had that mic drop moment. John Cena didn't have a response. Cody said his piece and left, and pretty much, probably a lot of people are thinking, but saying, this John Cena that's whining and complaining is not the John Cena that's going to beat the American Nightmare.
Yeah, it was a bold statement from Cody, and I mean, he may be right.
Cody's at the top of his game right now.
He is. Next up, we had a big no-holds-barred match advertised for a week, and I thought it lived up. Penta defeated Ludwig Kaiser. What'd you think of the no-holds-barred match?
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Awesome match, held up. Ludwig did a great job in there. Like we, pointed out how good he is, and then really helped put Penta over too. I think in that match and that stipulation, you have to say that's Penta's biggest win in the WWE so far. But something we see played on later tonight, he will now be challenging for the Intercontinental title next week, based off of that match. So yeah, I think that was a really good match, and it really helped Penta out in the long run.
And just think about this: how many pay-per-views could Braun Breaker vs. Penta for the Intercontinental title be on? But we're going to see it on Monday Night Raw tomorrow.
Exactly. Penta's first title match in WWE against what's been a dominant Intercontinental champion. We haven't seen him a whole lot in recent memory on TV, but when you do see Braun Breaker, he is dominating. He is being that powerhouse.
He is. He's at the top of his game. See if Penta's the man to dethrone him. Next up, we had Dakota Kai versus Ivy Naya. What'd you think of this match?
Well, it was a good match. I thought Dakota Kai ended up getting her payback in. And, overall, I think it was a pretty good match. Helped spotlight both women. We've seen both of them unsuccessfully challenge Lyra Valkyria. But I think it still just keeps both of them on that mid-card level.
Next up, we saw a huge contract signing. It was supposed to be Bianca Belair and Io Sky signing the contract for WrestleMania, but what we ended up seeing was Rhea Ripley coming out, interrupting, beating up both Sky and Bianca, and signing the contract herself. She's now in this women's title match at WrestleMania, making your triple threat. What do you think of this contract signing, and what do you think of what Rhea did to get into it?
No, I've always very interested. It's a way we haven't seen it before. We've usually seen, it's happened, triple threats and contract signings before, but usually they come out, make their case. GM approves of both, participants in the match, agree to it. But no, she just kind of put the name on there. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark would say on Twitter, well, if it's that easy, can we just see the contract? Can we put our names on there for a title match at WrestleMania too? But no, I thought it was very interesting, different way to do it. Then, yeah, but have they officially put her in there yet, or have they made a triple threat? Or because Adam Pearce was not happy with his
Yeah,
actions.
that's true. Maybe it's not exactly announced triple threat, but I think we believe it's going towards that. Seems like Rhea is not going to stop at anything until she makes it a triple threat. She feels that Bianca interfered in, kind of screwed her over out of her women's title match, and she feels it's only fair if she screws Bianca out of a one-on-one WrestleMania match.
That's true. It is an eye for an eye in this situation.
Next up, we had believe what was called a 15-second match between Jey Uso and Austin Theory. After the match, we saw Gunther try to get the jump on Jey. Then we saw Jey, slip when he was going jump out on Theory Waller a little bit, but he made up for it, and he ended up getting the upper hand on Gunther and holding up the title to end this segment. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Philly, the match did not do him great overall, but nice win for Jey. And yeah, everyone's saying he slipped, and you see a bunch of people throwing opinions. Oh, he screws up. He's still getting a shot at WrestleMania for world title, and it's like, no. First off, everyone makes mistakes, and no offense to Top Dollar, but he did not get fired just for that. There was other mistakes he made, and Jey Uso is an actual wrestler. For people making comparisons about that, Jey Uso is a better wrestler, and but yeah, it happens, and it was nice to see it turn around. If Jey, like you said, finally got the upper hand a little bit, because so far it's been all Gunther in this lead up.
Yeah, that's true. Next up, we had Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio of the LWO beat the Creed Brothers of American Made. What'd you think of this match? And after the match, we saw that mysterious masked man jump Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee again. What'd you think of it? And tell me that that's Chad Gable in that mask.
I still will not admit that it's Chad Gable yet. This week we did, but the week before we saw Chad Gable talking, unaware of the situation. Then we saw this masked guy being escorted back behind Chad Gable. But no, a great match. Creed Brothers are coming into their own more. And Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee's a pretty good tag team. Now that you've really seen them be a focal point more of recent weeks.
Yeah?
I would not mind seeing maybe them challenge for World Raiders or future tag title past this American Made, possibly a New Day rivalry, or maybe throw all four of them in there somehow at some point.
That'd be interesting.
But no, they've done really good. A good match and a nice win for Rey and Dragon Lee.
Next up, we saw Seth Rollins come out. He did say a lot. He didn't talk as much about Roman and CM Punk. He just pretty much said that Roman and CM Punk's going to be on SmackDown, so that means I'm going to be on SmackDown as well. He said, I'm going to crash the party. What'd you think of this Seth promo and lead into something we'll talk about later on in the show, this huge showdown between these three men?
Well, I thought it was great just to build anticipation for SmackDown. I mean, and as we know now, it was the main event segment, so you built anticipation for that on Raw. And no, I mean, I just thought it just really shows you again, like Seth Rollins really has that crowd control. He has that crowd where he wants them. They were singing his song. He thanked them for being a hot crowd throughout the night. He even, said we have one more coming up. Talk about the Continental title match. Had him sing his song on his way out. Just great crowd control. Really, I think it was just a great job by Seth Rollins, just showing we know he's that guy. And he says Monday Night Rollins for a reason, but he is one of a very few rare guys that just in this business just has the crowd in his hands, that they just, he can just maneuver them and control them in that way, in a good way, I mean. So, no, I mean, I think it was just awesome, and yeah, great foreshadowing for the end of week.
Next up, we saw what I thought was the best match on Monday Night Raw. We saw the Intercontinental Championship match. We saw Finn Balor against Braun Breaker. Ended with a lot of interference from the Judgment Day, and something I kind of alluded to last week, that I thought Dom was trying to screw over Finn. He kind of ended up screwing over Finn. Yeah. He says it was inadvertently, but he did kind of screw over Finn.
He did, but I do believe it was an accident. I mean, honestly, I think he was trying to help Finn win best he could. Inadvertently, yeah, he cost him the match, got him caught on ropes. And again, like we said, like Braun just looks like a beast. He just looks like a monster out there. It looks like, yeah, he's taking, all the Judgment Day distractions, but any small mistake you make, even if you don't make it, then your buddy makes it for you, like Dom did with Balor. That's it. It's over. There was no coming back for Finn after that with Braun Breaker. And then Judgment Day continue. Penta comes out, and we see that face-off. And now, it's made official today that we will see that match tomorrow on Raw. And I can't wait for Penta and Braun Breaker.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And like you said, great build into it because you saw that showdown, that stare down, Penta and Braun. Penta had his title, gave it back to him. Just very interesting moment between the two. Next up, we start with NXT. We had a SmackDown Women's United States Championship match on NXT. That's how we started the show. Chelsea Green retained against Sol Ruka. What'd you think of this match?
I thought did a very good job of putting Sol Ruka over. It made her look like a legit threat to the championship, to Chelsea's wing. It took interference from her proteges, or her, should say, posse, to help her win. But yeah, I mean, good match, and yeah, I think it really helped Sol Ruka too. See what she could do against the champion on the main roster. And like I said, she looked really good, and it took underhanded tactics for Chelsea to attain.
Next up, we had Stephanie Valkyrie coming out talking about that she's a defending champion. She's going to defend both titles. She was interrupted by Jordynne Grace, but before Grace could get to the ring, we saw Jada Parker attack her and tell Stephanie Valkyrie she's next. What do you think of this whole thing?
No, I thought it was nice, like she said, I'm a fighting champion, like you said. Whoever woman comes out here, looks me in my eyes, is next. So Jordynne Grace, music hits, she's coming down. Jada Parker jumps Jordynne Grace and says, I'm the woman in this ring looking you in the eyes. And like Stephanie said, Jada's next. She kept her word, and I think it should be a very interesting showdown. We saw Jada call her shot week before, talking with Mickie James, saying that, and then Mickie said, you have to make it happen. And she said, you're right, and she did. She went out and she made it happen. But Jada will have to answer to Jordynne Grace eventually for her actions as well.
Next up, we saw Briggs. We'll call him Team Briggs, kind of, because I forget the guy's name. But they beat Hank and Tank, and looks like there's a little bit of issues with Hank and Tank. It just looks like they can't figure out how to get these wins. They tried talking to the Hardys. They asked for Hardys, what do they do? And now it just seems like they're searching for answers. What do you think of this one?
I have to agree. Briggs is very hot again. They're probably in that take title one in. But yeah, Hank and Tank just can't seem to deal with Ricardo. I think they're going to try something new. I don't see them disbanding yet. I mean, they've got over as a tag team. Their backstage segments are great. They're in with the fans whenever there's a special event going on, especially like a holiday theme, or like a 4th of July cookout or Thanksgiving type segment. There are guys there that's hosting it and stuff like that. So I don't see a disbanding just yet. I don't know if that chain trains up, or like they said, they have to talk to maybe more tag teams, get more advice, get more try to better themselves. So it'll be very interesting to see where that goes.
Next up, we saw the Family in an intergender tag match against the Colin, and the Family had this one in hand until they saw that mysterious group, that team of masked men, no longer masked it seems like anymore, but they did come and jump Tony D from behind and beat them down, and it gave the Colin the victory. What do you think of this match? And what do you think of this group, this, what they call Dark Side, or?
I think so. I think they are the Dark Side. I don't know. I thought it was a very good match. Willie did a good job of putting the spotlight on the, you have Tony D'Angelo, the main one, and you have Sean Spears, the main one of each factions. But the rest of the faction, I think all of them did a good job. The tag teams, women's wrestlers on both. And yeah, they took out Tony D'Angelo. And yeah, I think now it's starting to make a little bit more sense this week, and we'll see it later on. We got more names, you got more of a purpose of why they're here, what they're trying to do. They don't want to wait in line. They don't want to start from the bottom. They want to, be up there now. They want to be talked about. They want to be in the moment. So I really like now that we've got more of a clearer path of what these guys are about and how they roll now. So I think that works. And yeah, I mean, you just took out former North American champion, a man that's been a fixture of NXT for the last 3 to 4 years. So I think that was a big move on their end.
I do too. I agree with you. Right? Be interesting to see where it goes. Next up, we saw Fatal Attractions. JC Jane beat Carmen Petrovic, but it seemed like there's trouble in paradise. It seems like Ashanti the Adonis tried to give, I don't think the win, but tried to give Petrovic like revenge on Fatal Attraction. She didn't take it, and it ended up costing her the match. What did you think of this one, and is there trouble in paradise?
Yeah, I think a good part of that too is because they hit Ashanti with the chair, and just really kind of it's in his head. He's not going to retaliate, of course, but he's trying to say, hey, it's not always about winning a match. Maybe right now you get some retribution, you make a point, and you show that you're not going to be beat down. But nonetheless, she didn't want to go about it that way, and it cost her in the end. I mean, yeah, she would have lost the match regardless, but she would have been the last woman standing.
Yeah, that's true. Next up, we had Ricky Starks beat Ridge Holland. I thought this was an underrated but really good match. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I think this was a great way to really get Saints. It's his first singles match in NXT. Like we said, the tag team match broke down to singles eventually, but this was just halfway singles, no tag team partner. I mean, again, this match could have been on a pay-per-view, and I think Ridge did a good job too in the match and made Ricky Saints look really good. By the time Saints won, it was a hard-fought victory, and it really helped solidify him. And then we even saw an interaction between him and Spears. So, you know what I mean? There's that maybe stand and deliver. Saints looks for his first gold in WWE NXT.
That'd be very interesting. Next up, we had our main event. We had an underground match between Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe. Let's start with the match. Then after you talk about the match, we'll talk about everything that went down after the match. So what'd you think of the match?
I thought it was a good match. I thought it was just a down and dirty feel. I mean, just in recent memory that I can think of, I think it's the best underground match they've done in NXT myself. I mean, we've seen good ones, and no offense on anyone else, they've all been good, but this one just really seemed like there was a grudge there, like these men really hated each other. We've seen this aggressive side out of Trick ever since he lost for title. I think it's got worse after the strap match where Eddie Thorpe picked up the win. And no, I just think great match. I think right now he ended rivalry. To my knowledge, we could see a rubber match. I don't know. We'll talk about the chaos that ensued afterwards. It looks like Trick's most definitely going in another direction. I don't know what's up with Eddie Thorpe yet, but Trick was ended up most definitely being the victor in that match.
Yeah. Then after the match, Trick would call out Obafemi. It would lead to Darkseid coming down. You thought they were going to make them move and attack, but they just watched as Javon Evans came out and ended up hitting the cutter on Obafemi. Like, are we setting up for a triple threat here?
I think so. I really do. I think that's what we're going to see at the standing level from where they built that. I mean, we talked about it last week. We saw this more aggressive side out to Javon Evans against Ethan Page, which to our point, we did not see Ethan Page this past week's NXT. We don't know if we're seeing him yet, but I still think that might be it for him. He might be going to the main roster, just like Roxanne, I believe, as well after the Jordan Grace match. But we saw this, and then we see him. And who was he going for? Was he going for Trick? Was he going for Oba? I don't know, but he took out the world champion and stood there face to face with a very kind of shocked but still aggressive Trick Williams.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see where it goes because I didn't see that coming. I saw the Trick and Obafemi meeting up. I did not see Javon Evans working his way into it, so I'm interested to see where that goes.
And like you said, all Darkseid looking out. There are so many variables right now.
So what if they become a triple threat, but also they have to take on 3 members of Darkseid beforehand? Like a show or something before Stand and Deliver. That'd be pretty interesting.
That would be, because then they have coexist to beat this new faction before they turn their attentions to each other. I mean, that would be great on the go home NXT before WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Now, SmackDown, we had Randy Orton vowing that at WrestleMania he is going to kick Kevin Owens' head off. You saw Kevin Owens try smooth things over, but to no avail. What'd you think of this? What I thought was a great Randy Orton promo.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did too. I think, like he said, that Randy Orton, self-admittedly, since he came back in 23 after a long hiatus, he was, still doing good, still being Randy Orton, but he was not who he was. He was not in the zone he was. He said after that power driver, he heard the voices again. This more aggressive side of Viper, more kind of like legend killer side if you really look at the punt kicks. But yeah, he wants to. Kevin Owens tried to smooth things over very well, even if he didn't mean it. Still in the apology, admitting he was wrong. He should have never done it. I don't think I've ever heard Kevin Owens utter those words, but he tried, like you said, to no avail, and it was made official. And I cannot wait to see Randy and KO at WrestleMania.
It's going to be a good one. Speaking of a good one, we had a good tag team match. We had Damian Priest and Jimmy Uso defeat Drew McIntyre and Shinsuke. What was your opinion on this big tag team match?
I thought it was cool. It was fun, a fun match. One that was a surprise. I did not expect it, but yeah, Priest and Jimmy Uso, like I said, picked up a victory, but after the match, Damian Priest brutally got beat down by Drew McIntyre, and Drew said it's not going to stop.
Drew seems to have Damian Priest's number, and I think we're going to see that match at WrestleMania too.
And me too, and I cannot wait for it.
Next up, we had, from this rivalry that's really heating up between Stratton and Charlotte, we had a pretty cool interview segment. I thought it was cool how they went back and forth, and it's different from them brawling the last week or so. So what'd you think of this one?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like you said, you have changed things up. You've done the pull aparts, but everything can't be a pull apart all the time. And just to sit down, the interview, and Charlotte just kind of pointing out a lot of things that people said about, Tiffy time could be the next Charlotte, the comparisons of athletic ability from both women, but also that she will, in Charlotte's words, she will never be, because there's only one, and Charlotte's still here. She's not gone yet. And that she's going to take that title and end it, and show that Stratton's a flash in the pan, and Stratton's saying no, that this is her time now. Charlotte's of the past, and she's the future. So no, I think, again, it just puts a bunch more emphasis on the that this is a dream match, like we've been saying back since the Wumbo. It is, you look at the generation before, which Charlotte's from, she's still wrestling now, but she's from that generation before. The future generation is Stratton, so it's going to be a very interesting match, and a lot of variables going into this match.
Next up, we had Braun Strowman against Jacob Fatu. Winner gets their hands on LA Knight for the U.S. title. And Braun Strowman won by disqualification because of Solo Sikoa. And that set off Jacob Fatu. We saw him throwing stuff backstage. Do you think Jacob Fatu and Solo are going to come to a head? You think we're going to see this one-on-one match at WrestleMania?
I do. I really think we're going to see. You've had the Strowman teaser now. But I really think that after this, we are most definitely going to see it, because I didn't know if they were going to do something with Strowman and maybe after WrestleMania, but he was livid. It looked like he wanted to take Solo's head off in the ring. They lost match. He said he was going to be fine. He wasn't going to go down to the power slam, or he wasn't going to take it, or he was going to kick out, and that he believed Solo didn't believe in his ability to win the match, and cost him a shot at the U.S. title, which did not go over well with Fatu. And yeah, Strowman LA Knight next week, and I have no idea. I'm just predicting here. We've seen Strowman. He's been trying to fight Fatu. He's been kind of struggling. What if Strowman said this is his chance to make it to WrestleMania? He thanked LA Knight for the help, but said it's him and LA Knight now, and his best chance is to get that U.S. title. What if Strowman wins that by any means necessary, and we set up a rivalry between LA Knight and Braun Strowman?
That'd be interesting. I'd be down for that. Next up, we had an underweighted match, but I thought really good match. It was nice that we gave time to two women that work super hard but don't really get a chance. We had a pretty long, good match between Zelina Vega and Piper Niven, that Piper Niven would come out on top. And what did you think of this one?
I agree with everything you just said. It was nice to see. They've been on the undercard so long. And they're both very talented wrestlers, both been with the company for a while now. And just to see the spotlight put on them a little bit. And Zelina had a really good showing, but again, like we talked about on Tuesday night, the interference from Chelsea and Alba Fire proved to be too much, and Piper Niven picked up a well-deserved victory because, like you said, they got some time, and both women put on a really good match and showed what they can do. And I don't think it's over yet. Maybe even if Zelina recruits some help, I think she's still coming after all of them.
I do too. Next up, it's something very interesting. I'll even get to you after we talk about this. But next up, we had Liv Morgan defeat Jade Cargill with the help of Naomi. But after that, we would see Naomi kind of exact some of her revenge by attacking Jade Cargill. So first off, let's start there. What'd you think of that? What'd you think of the beatdown afterwards from Naomi? And we'll start there. Then I have another question for you after that.
Okay, well, yeah, a very good match. Jade don't look like she's missed a beat being out since November. And, Naomi interferes. Liv's going to win by any means necessary she can. Naomi, like you said, getting some of her revenge. We've saw 2 straight times that Jade just beat down Naomi. So, yeah, Naomi's going to take any chance she gets, and she capitalized on it. And I think it's most definitely, again, like we're talking about Drew and Priest, Naomi and Jade Cargill has to happen at WrestleMania. There's no way it doesn't.
So. Okay, now here's the next question. So we saw on X, we saw Jade Cargill kind of pointing the blame at Bianca as well as Naomi. We would see Bianca kind of respond and Jade say that she never really cared about finding out. She only cared about herself. First off, here's my prediction, then I ask what you think and where you think it's going towards. My prediction is Bianca wins at WrestleMania. She becomes the women's champion. After that, Jade Cargill attacks her in Torrance Hill, and this is leading up to a rivalry between Bianca and Jade. That's my prediction, but what do you think of the whole situation, and where do you think it's going?
I think it's a pretty solid prediction. We know Bianca will factor into this right now. Like I said, she has EO in her sights, and more than likely Rhea Ripley too. She signed the contract, but no, I would not be surprised. There's most definitely, I believe, a tension there. Jade blames her as well, so no, I'm with you. I could see that very likely happening. We see a jump. Heck, it might even be during the match. We don't know. Like we said, WrestleMania's 2 nights. It depends what's on each night. I do believe, I don't know how you would make Naomi and Jade. It's a grudge match, but she gets her payback against Naomi, possibly. Does she cost Bianca the title? Where does that go? And I've asked you one thing too about SmackDown real quick. What about these vignettes we've seen the last couple of weeks? It most definitely looks like the shape and size of way Phoenix brought to a Penta.
It does.
But what about the dark, the smoke, the 4? It looks like it's going towards 425, I believe.
I was going to say, I've heard rumors about that. That's going towards the very next SmackDown after WrestleMania, and that could be for one Aleister Black, formerly known as Malachi Black, if you watched him in AEW. But I've heard that could be going towards that, and that'd be very interesting. Some people say that it could start a rivalry between him and Cody, igniting the old feud we did see if anyone watched AEW back when they rivaled. We watched them have a grudge, no holds barred match live in Orlando.
Yeah, very good match. Very fun watching it live, and yeah, I see that, and we know he's out of AEW now. His contractor's up. And we know Triple H always, liked him, always wanted to use him. Vince was one that got rid of him.
And Paul really tried to push him, it was said, but again, Vince didn't really go for it. But Paul Heyman really tried to push him as well.
But there's so many rumors. Right now we're on Road to WrestleMania, which is huge. But the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania is always huge.
Yeah.
And I think he is. Just saying by just the ominous black and the smoke. I just, right now, to my knowledge, cannot think of anyone else that would be. So I believe he is, and I believe it'll be very interesting to see what he does, what kind of persona, what exact, incarnation of him are we seeing from when he was in the review, or are we seeing a different incarnation of him? We had, we go back before he got let go. He was just going to start the program with Big E. After weeks of vignettes, then all of a sudden he was just let go, and then everyone just scratched their heads about it. And yeah, so I think it's going to be very interesting. And I believe that will be him, like everyone thinks. And also, Wade Phoenix. I mean, is he? Everyone's saying they teamed up, but right now Penta's going for the Continental title. Is Wade Phoenix going to carve his own singles path out on SmackDown?
I think that's the plan. I think let both of them create a name for themselves as singles wrestlers, and somewhere down the line reunite the Lucha Brothers.
Now, I'm with you then. For those that don't know, Wade Phoenix in AEW has a singles title victory over John Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose of the Shield.
Very interesting. Next up, we had a Street Profits promo, but still, in my opinion, I don't know what side of the fence they're on. I don't know if Street Profits are faces or heels. What'd you make of this promo? And which side do you think they're leaning towards?
I don't know. It's tough.
They even had the new music for no longer bring the swag, but we want the smoke music, which was the heel music.
Yeah, that's true. It is a more aggressive side. They could be leaning towards that way, but they still seem to have the crowd support. But I believe that the music change fits this persona. Whatever way they do, they're just more aggressive. It seems like the other music is more laid back, more fun. That aggressive. It does seem more heel-like, but the crowd's still going for them. They still just seem to be ready to fight anyone. No, I thought great promo. Street Profits are awesome. It's awesome after, it's been like over 4 years since they held Take Gold. It's great that they had it once again. And yeah, it's very serious, like we said. Great stacked tag team division on SmackDown. And next week, they take on Pretty Deadly in the O2 Arena. So that should be very interesting.
We saw the Profits pick up a victory over Borto and Angel. What'd you make of that match?
A good match. I think Borto and Angel each week just continue to improve and show how good they really are. A very underestimated tag team, I believe. And yeah, I think it was also just a great match to just, not the title match, but still forced match as tag champions. Nice match and win for the Street Profits.
Then next up, we have a big thing. We alluded to this earlier, but this promo was huge, in my opinion, just really awesome, and it set the stage. And now we have a triple threat at WrestleMania, not for a title, but it works with these three men. And yes, I'm talking about the Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins finish on SmackDown. The promos, the fight, the security, everything. What'd you think of? Yeah, I thought it was a huge spectacle and a pretty cool moment.
Oh, I'm with you. It was huge. I mean, once you knew a week ago that Roman was going to be on SmackDown, Paul said it, CM Punk would then take to Twitter and say, hey, I'm going to meet you there. Then Monday night, like you said, Rollins said, dude, so you knew what was coming, anticipation. You see Roman show up, he comes out there, sends you up to Rollins and eventually Punk. But then Punk, what is that favor? We still don't know what that favor is. Paul looked horrified when CM Punk brought the up and said, what, now? And then he said no, but then Punk takes that microphone and jumps Roman from behind, hits him with it, and it just all went, chaotic from there. Each man had their moment. You point to the sign. No title, but just for star power, though, of these three men in that triple threat. And I don't know. I believe this will main event night one of WrestleMania. I just don't know how this does not, with the three men involved, title or no title, is three megastars.
It very well could, and I would not be mad at it. The non-title triple threat, but just like you said, the star power, the superstars. And it's like if you have a match with Roman, CM Punk, and Seth, more often than not, that match is going to main event a pay-per-view, but now it's against each other. I couldn't main event anywhere.
Exactly. And Punk might finally get his dream.
And what? Okay, so here, what if this is the favor that Paul's going to give Punk? What if the favor is he leaves being Roman's wise man and he joins Punk again? What if that's the favor? What if that's why, like you said, Paul looked horrified? What if it's like he has to make the turn on Roman as his favor for Punk?
It could be. I mean, just something like you said, they only know what he is. We have no idea what he is. Roman don't know what he is, and I think it's really starting to get under his skin and make him mad too. Because as he's looking at Paul and sees that expression on Paul, is when Punk jumped him with the microphone. So, I mean, that could be. I mean, I don't know what he is. Like, no one does besides those two men. But like you said, just that look of horror on the face of a wise man. Let's know it's something not good for anyone, maybe, but CM Punk.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Match of the week for this week. Really tough. We had some pretty good matches. We're going to take, from Raw, we're going to take that Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio against the Creed Brothers. We're going to take the Penta against Ludwig Kaiser, No Holds Barred. We're also going to take that main event Intercontinental title match. From NXT, we're going to take the opener, Soruko against Chelsea Green for the Women's U.S. title. We're going to take Trick and Eddie Fort, most definitely. And we're going to take that 6-person intergender tag I thought was pretty good and underrated. Then from SmackDown, we're going to take Zelina against Niven. Like I said, I thought that was really underrated, but really good match. We're going to take the tag team Priest and Jimmy against Shinsuke and Drew McIntyre. And we're going to take the Profits against Angel and Borto. This is tough for match of week. It comes down to 3 for me. 1 from each show. I think the Underground match, the Intercontinental title match, and I think that Vega Niven match is what 3 it comes down. But if you're thinking, I just have to go with that Braun Breaker Finn Balor match. I was just really big on it. I like the story, and I like how it's leading to next week's Monday Night Raw. You saw the even afterwards the exchange, Penta helping Braun, but letting Braun know this is why I'm here as he's holding his Intercontinental title belt.
Exactly. He helped him, but it comes at price. He called next, and he got his wish. Great match, and like I said, just builds up for next week.
And I don't mean to lean towards the same way with what I'm doing, but because of talking about how it leads to next week, and the week he had, the win over Ludwig, the helping Braun, the signaling that he wants via Continental title, and getting the title match next week, the MVP of the week for me is Penta. His first MVP spot on our show, and could be of many to come.
Exactly. And no, it was a great week, and even not just for what he did himself, but also I think personally, because everyone believes, well, we know that's his brought to him with vignettes, and everyone's saying that he signed a new contract. So personally, it's a great week for Penta as well as for his own career, because now, even if it is a different brand, his brother's joining him in the company.
Which is pretty cool. What do you have for our fullback match?
So I'm picking this match, and it's it's I think like almost 17 years ago now. Now a lot of people, younger fans and stuff, may not know it, or people that weren't watching then. But back in the fall to winter of 2008, Jeff Hardy kept trying to get the WWE Championship. Came up short. Everyone said, he couldn't quite get it. He's always just going to come up short. That's the Jeff Hardy story. And then Armageddon 2008, Jeff Hardy versus Edge versus Triple H, WWE Championship. Jeff finally wins the big one. The crowd love it. And I think it's as great to go back and watch now, because a lot of people, even Bubba Ray Dudley said this himself. I fought this for a while. Jey Uso was drawing those comparisons of Jeff Hardy. Can't get the big one. Tag team guy. Intercontinental Championship. And he draws those comparisons. So I think possibly as maybe come WrestleMania, we see Jay's huge crowning singles moment. Let's go back to one of the very comparisons everyone talks about and watch Jeff Hardy, Armageddon 2008 against Triple H and Edge. Great match. Great culmination of months of storytelling and build up. And it was fun. Then even the next week on SmackDown, the crowd went crazy. Great celebration.
And even more to that, not only, like you said, the underdog, the tag team guy, the winning the big one, but you have to overcome these dominant champions at the time too, because Gunther's been a dominant champion as well as what Jeff Hardy had to face.
That's true. Triple H had just lost it after he had held it for months.
And Edge was always that heel dominant champion that would always cheat and find every way possible to win.
Exactly. So, no, you're right. I mean, Jeff was the underdog in that match. There's no way he wasn't between both Edge and Triple H.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.